Welcome to this kind of special episode of StichMethod, the anti-gear rant. My friends and my students know that I'm really not anti-gear, but there's this like philosophy in me, which is, does gear make a difference? Does a lot of gear make a difference? And I'm here to discuss with you my perspective on it. And to help me with that, I'm going to use the PRS SE Standard 24. This is the least expensive PRS guitar that you can find on the market and that they make. I have established a nice relationship with PRS and asked them, I said, hey, can you send me the least expensive guitar you have? Because I want to show people listening about what really matters in guitar land. Now, there are amazing guitars out there. PRS has some, really, really great American-made guitars. And the question is, do you need one? Or can you play a PRS SE and get the same amount of ability and confidence and playability out of it? My philosophy is, it's more of the fiddler, not the fiddle. I know for a fact that a lot of everyone watching can't afford, guitars that are thousands of dollars. Now, I'm not trying to say, don't get a guitar that's thousands of dollars. What I'm trying to say is, are there guitars that are not thousands of dollars that are really worth your time and looking into and playing professionally and on stage and practicing with? And the answer is, of course, yes. This guitar being one of them. When I talked to PRS and they agreed to send me this guitar, I was looking forward to it. And when I opened it up and played it, I was like, oh man, the reason I was like, oh man, is because I'm going to be having a contest to give this guitar away. So stay tuned to my channel. And I was upset that I have to give this guitar away because this guitar is awesome. I have to say this again, it is the least expensive PRS on the market. And when you think about that, you think about least expensive guitars being like flimsy or underperforming. And I can tell you right now that this guitar in no way is flimsy or underperforming. The first thing is that this has some solid weight to it. You can feel as soon as you touch this guitar that it is a serious machine. All right, you can feel the quality as soon as you touch it. Also, I'm going to have some close-up pictures. You can see how nice the finishes are on this guitar. And so I want to talk about a couple things. Number one, how simple this guitar is. Look at this, three-way selector right here. Sorry, pardon the light bar. Three-way selector, treble, mid, and rhythm, and tone and volume. So simple to use. The main attraction of this guitar for me is that it's 24 fret. The neck shape and style is outstanding. I love it. And that's why I got upset, because I sat and played it for a little bit. And as soon as I touched it, it was like, oh man, this is such a good neck. And the idea is all the chords that I want to play ring. It's very comfortable. There's nothing that I can't do on this guitar that I can't do on my Les Paul. The Les Paul that my dad got me when I was 13 years old. All right, and it's like, well, why are you saying this, Ian? Are you anti expensive guitars? No, I'm pro you getting a guitar that's worth its money and isn't going to break your bank. And right now, this PRS Standard 24 is one of them. I can tell you right now, if somebody handed me this guitar on stage and said, play this, I'd be like, great, absolutely fine. It's awesome. I also want to say, it's hard for me, and I don't know why I'm saying this. It's hard for me to accept online reviews or online product demos of guitars. The reason being is because the sound that you're going to hear is only as good as the speakers in your computer or your tablet or your phone that you're listening to. It's going to be real hard to hear how good this guitar is. So from one honest person to another, this guitar and the pickups and the pickup selectors are spot on. The rhythm setting, there's a really good roundness. Middle selection, you can hear there's a little bit more bite. And the treble selection, you can really hear. Now, the truth is, I just want to let you know that selector, what's in treble position, it's going to be rare when you're playing it clean. So if you slap on some distortion, It's awesome. I'm playing this and actually recording this on my iPhone. Why? Well, because you have to trust the person saying it. Now, I'm not paid for this. They didn't pay me for this. I want to share with you, hey, this is the least expensive PRS. Is it worth getting? Absolutely. If this is what you can afford, don't hold off or think that you're going to be a bad guitar player because you can't afford a really expensive guitar of any brand. This guitar is awesome. And again, I'll be giving it away with a contest on my channel. This exact guitar, the one I'm holding, which I'm a little upset about because it's such a great guitar. And also, like I said, product demos of guitars are really hard to trust because, you know, like I said, it's only coming through those speakers and it's as good as the processors that you put it through. If you want to hear this guitar with a little bit of souped up processing, you can watch my Eddie Hazel video, which I'll have linked right above me and also in the description. There I have it going through my Ampero processor. And I jazz it up a little so you can hear it. But nonetheless, this guitar sounds amazing through that speaker right there, or when it's plugged in and you want to modify it with some post effects. The idea is this, guys. You know, I'm just having a discussion with you. It's you who plays the guitar, and the better you can play the guitar, the better you're going to be at any instrument. Yes, there are some really cheap guitars out there that fight you along the way. You know, those are the ones you can find like at, you know, department stores. But this, okay, the PRS, the Paul Reed Smith, the PRS SE Standard 24 is not in any way a cheap machine at all. I love playing this, and I think that if you are in the market for, you know, a guitar but you don't want to break the bank, this is a guitar that you need to take a look at. Trust me. And if you want to take a look at it and possibly win it, stay tuned for on my channel, and I'll discuss all the rules for an upcoming contest where you can win this and make me sad because it's such a good guitar. So this is just a short video saying, listen, do you need a product demo? I mean, I can sit here and play for you, but let me tell you, this thing sounds great. It feels great. It plays great. It looks great. There's nothing about this guitar at all that says, hey, I'm cheap and I'm a bad player. You're always going to be a good player the more and more you watch StichMethod. Just kidding, not kidding. And other channels, and as you learn. And this guitar will help you get all of those ideas out perfectly. It's not going to hinder you. The action on this is great. I know that the action is dependent on the setup. The setup is great right now. The neck is flat. I can tell you all these great things, and it's true. And so, again, if you're in the market, don't, and you can't spend $4,000 right now, that's totally understandable. But if you want a new guitar, PRS SE Standard 24, it needs your serious attention to look at it. With that being said, you know, give me your comments on some really cool things that you have that aren't too expensive that you really think help your playing, you know, because like I said, I'm a human being, and I know that spending hard-earned money on things, you know, is sometimes you don't want to do it. And if you can get away with buying something that's a little less expensive and gets the job done, I say do it. This is definitely one of those. So in the comments below, list some gear or some guitars or anything that you say, you know, didn't break the bank, and people might, you know, poo-poo because it's not a super expensive guitar, but I want to hear from that too. Let's help support each other, you know, by finding things that really work. Before I go, I'll say, you know, I have a Gibson Les Paul. I have a super high-end PRS SE Piezo, and they're phenomenal instruments. I love playing them just as much. There's a psychological bond you have with these instruments that are a little bit more expensive, but like I say, it's the fiddler, not the fiddle. All right. If you can barely play bar chords and you buy a super expensive guitar, well, guess what? You're going to barely be able to play bar chords on an expensive guitar. All right. And so find instruments that, you know, get out your intent, that play well, that also look really good, that feel good, but aren't going to break the bank. Again, this is one of them. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you to PRS for sending the SE Standard 24. Great guitar. Really good job, guys. It's awesome, and I'm going to miss it after this contest. Thank you so much for being here on another episode of StichMethod, and we'll talk very soon. Bye-bye.